Iran's war shock is no longer just a Middle East crisis. It is now shaking the foundations of the global financial system. According to a Bloomberg report, investors are rapidly pulling away from long-term government bonds across G7 economies as fears grow that the conflict around the Strait of Hormuz could trigger another prolonged inflation wave. The result? Yields across major sovereign debt markets have surged to multi-decade highs, rattling what was once considered the world's safest financial refuge, the $50 trillion G7 debt market. The concern is not just about rising oil prices. Markets fear the world is entering a structurally inflationary era, where repeated wars, supply chain disruptions, defense spending, and geopolitical rivalries keep prices elevated for years. The Strait of Hormuz, a key artery for global energy and fertilizer shipments, has become the latest economic flashpoint, with disruptions already driving up fuel, transport, and agricultural costs worldwide. The inflation scare is now forcing investors to rethink the future of central bank policy. Instead of rate cuts, markets increasingly fear another cycle of aggressive interest rate hikes. Australia's central bank has already moved in that direction, warning that repeated inflation shocks are becoming harder to contain.
Another inflationary shock that's coming through not that long after the last one.
The bigger political risk is that governments are running out of room to respond. G7 nations are already weighed down by massive debt after COVID-era spending and the Ukraine war. Now, as fuel subsidies and emergency support measures return, investors fear governments may struggle to contain both inflation and borrowing costs at the same time. For global markets, this is becoming more than a temporary war shock. The Bloomberg report warns that investors increasingly see a world shaped by conflict, fragmented supply chains, and permanent inflation pressure. And if that fear deepens, the Iran war may be remembered not just as a geopolitical crisis, but as the trigger for a new era of global economic instability.